Like most people, I've never thought very deeply about the East Wing of the White House. I saw it as a fairly functional space with offices and reception rooms constructed some 150 years after the People's Mansion itself. But having watched the news over the last few days, it's now clear I made a big mistake. The East Wing of the White House is an historic monument, a sacred structure, part of the very fabric of what it means to be an American.
He's found time to demolish the East Wing of the White House so that he can build a ballroom where he can be celebrated as if he was a king.
Literally, Trump is tearing down government by and for the people to replace it with an authoritarian state by and for the powerful. And here he's just symbolizing that.
Right, so this is how the man is treating the legacy, the physical legacy of the presidency of the United States. Donald Trump is literally destroying the people's house.
The new White House ballroom is being funded by private donations, not taxpayers, and it's a fact that presidents have long complained about the lack of space for big state occasions. Sure, the bulldozers and the building site don't look great, but honestly, what exactly is wrong with the finished product? Some people don't particularly like the bawdy gold interior, but future presidents can be free to decorate and reconfigure it as they see fit, because that's what they do. And a certain former vice president has been making clear that she might like a go at it herself.
In terms then of what is next for you, you write very powerfully about the differences that many women have made to your life. When are they going to see a woman in charge in the White House?
In their lifetime, for sure.
Could it be you?
Possibly.
In my experience interviewing politicians, when someone says, I'm not done, it means they are thinking seriously about running. But when you look at the bookies' odds, they put you as an outsider.
I've never listened to polls. If I listened to polls, I would have not run for my first office or my second office, and I certainly wouldn't be sitting here in this interview.
Well, if Kamala Harris is the Democratic nominee in 2028, I can say with absolute confidence that she will be the most popular choice by a country mile among Republicans. Well, joining me to discuss all this and more is Michael Knowles, host of The Michael Knowles Show on Daily Wire, Marc Lamont Hill, the host of Bet News, Brian Tyler Cohen, host of No Lie, and Jack Posobiec, the host of Human Events. Well, welcome to all of you. Michael Knowles, I've been to the White House. It's a lovely building, amazing building, a bit like our number 10 Downing Street or Buckingham Palace. I've never paid much attention to the East Wing, but I have over the years heard grumblings that the White House generally doesn't have enough mass entertainment space, i.e. a big ballroom. So I'm trying to work myself into a lather of rage about this, and I'm coming up slightly short. Why is it winding so many people up that Trump is basically creating a space which was probably lacking?
Well, I'm really glad to see it, actually, Piers, because we've finally identified one historic American structure that the left does not want to tear down. Of course, if it were a statue of George Washington or Abraham Lincoln or Christopher Columbus or an historic church in Washington, D.C., then they would want to rip it to the ground or burn it. But because it is a relatively recent addition to the White House that has been used for various purposes over the years, now they're all up in a rage. But I can promise them, don't worry, that what is going to replace it is going to be bigger. It's going to be much, much more functional than what effectively had become a First Lady's professional quarters since the Carter administration. It's going to be really useful, really beautiful, really patriotic, so I'm sure they'll want to tear it down then.
Brian Tyler Cohen, do you care? And if so, why?
I care because this puts on full display where Trump's priorities are. If you look at where he actually puts his energy, his focus, his resources, it's on a $350 million ballroom. It's on buying a couple of Gulfstream jets for Kristi Noem to the tune of $172 million. It's on hosting these crypto dinners where Trump has doubled his net worth. It's on gold plating his Oval Office. It's on making sure that he can get himself a Qatari jet that'll be retrofitted to the tune of $1 billion paid for by American taxpayers. This is where his priorities are. And all the while, we've got American farmers who are getting screwed right now. We've got Americans more broadly, 17 million of whom are going to lose access to Medicaid. We've got 24 million Americans who are going to see their ACA premiums double, triple, or quadruple. We've got inflation rising. We've got no manufacturing renaissance that was promised. We've got jobs completely flat. We've got wages flat. And all the while, Trump is only focused on surrounding himself with gold and opulence and wealth. And so it puts on full display what his priorities are in office.
I mean, he has got the hostages released in Gaza. So when you say it's his priority, why can a president of the United States not have multiple things that he's doing at the same time? The ballroom, I'm sure, is not to him a massive priority compared to trying to find peace around the world. But surely he can do two things at once. Johnny?
Caroline Levitt came out just days ago and said that the ballroom is his priority. And again, the fact is that Donald Trump did not run solely on releasing the hostages. He had plenty of promises that he didn't. Where are the Epstein files? Those weren't released.
Brian,
Where's
what you just said is a total lie. I'll let you get away with some of the other exaggerations, but what you just said about Caroline Levitt is a total lie. The question was, is Trump looking at restoring or renovating any other aspects of the White House? And her response was, no, the ballroom is his priority. Not his priority in the country.
Let me ask you this, Michael.
His priority is reopening the government that the Democrats shut down.
Do you know why the government? Do you know why the government is shut down? Do you know why the Democrats?
Because Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer shut it down because Obamacare doesn't work and they want to give health care to illegals. That's why.
First of all, that's a complete lie. There is not a dime of federal funding that goes toward undocumented immigrants, first of all. Second of all, if the Democrats relent on this issue, that means healthcare premiums for those 24 million Americans who rely on ACA coverage are going to double, triple, or quadruple. So are you in favor of that?
I agree that Obamacare has not worked out very well, and I wish the Democrats had done a better job when they passed it.
So answer the question that I asked,
Trump offered a clean, continuing resolution, and they shut it down. And they shut it down, by the way, this gets back to your earlier point, because the Democrats are on the wrong side of virtually every issue in the country, other than health care, which they're barely holding on to, and environmentalism.
But health care is the issue that the government is shut down over right now.
And they have to shut the government down to change the momentum.
Healthcare is why the government is shut down right now. So I'm going to reiterate the question that I asked you before. Do you think that Democrats should relent on holding this one issue forward, which is that if they don't do anything on ACA subsidies, that healthcare costs are going to double, triple, or quadruple? Do you agree that we should allow those costs to double, triple, or quadruple, and that Democrats should just allow the Republicans to do what they're trying to do, which is eliminate those subsidies?
The ACA is not a Republican law, my friend, and so I'm happy
to
renegotiate Obamacare.
Michael,
that would be wonderful.
It's a really simple question.
I'm telling you. I'm answering. I think it would be really good to fix Obamacare. We should do that. We shouldn't hold the government hostage.
You've had 9 years. 9 years we have been waiting for some change. We've been promised a new health care plan by Republicans
since you
for 9
guys
years.
passed
We've got
it.
Concepts of a plan. That's it. We've got concepts of a plan.
Brian,
some
change from what?
Brian,
from
if I may jump in, Brian. Well, hang on, Brian, if I may jump in, you've just spent the last 5 minutes talking about something other than the ballroom, having initially argued that this was Trump's priority. So I'm a little bit confused. If the ballroom's his priority, why are you moving the narrative so quickly to something else he's been doing?
What's the other thing he's been doing? I've been saying that what the Republicans are trying to do is not add those ACA subsidies, which would keep healthcare costs where they are right now. No, I get it,
but you're talking about a totally different issue. I know, but you're talking about a totally different issue, which is the government shutdown. I made the point that Trump has also managed to get the hostages released in Gaza, that he's also trying to forge a deal to end the war in Ukraine. A president of the United States has a number of important things going on at any given time. The idea that the construction of a ballroom on the east wing of the White House is his top priority, I think is very disingenuous. Now, does he think it needs a space for a new ballroom? Then, yeah, look, let me bring in Jack on this one. Jack, like I say, I've only been to the East Wing actually once, but it did strike me there is not a big ballroom space. So if there needs to be one, why not have one?
Yeah, and I think that clearly, he's doing it in typical Trump fashion, right, where I don't think people realized quite how extensive this was going to be, and I think that's why so many people, when they first saw the images that came out, that really took them aback. But at the same, it can be jarring. But at the same time, when you look at the White House itself, it is a relatively small compared to the world leader residences around the world, or compared to any European capital, for example. And so it makes sense that the White House would have the ability to do this. You can't have world leaders have on these state visits, whether it be Republican or Democrat, coming in and they're walking around on the South Lawn and, in these tents and on the grass. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Why not have a nice ballroom? And by the way, while we're at it, I do love the fact that it was trending this weekend that one of the names that was suggested for this is the Charles J. Kirk Ballroom.